We have before us the opportunity to forge, for ourselves and for future generations, a new world order, a world where the rule of law, and the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
A warlord is a leader able to exercise military, economic, and political control over a subnational territory within a sovereign state due to their ability to mobilize loyal armed forces. These armed forces, usually considered malicious, are loyal to the warlord rather than to the state regime. Warlords have existed throughout much of history, albeit in a variety of different capacities within the political, economic, and social structure of states or ungoverned territories. Welcome to Internet Warlords. The war for the Internet. Every day billions of people around the planet engage in a deadly war for the minds of mankind. Internet Warlords podcast is dedicated to winning the war for the Internet. Each week, we will feature the best and the worst of the Internet in our never-ending quest to end the war for the Internet. Are you ready? Buckle up, check your feelings at the door. Sensitive individuals that need to be protected from reality need go no further. Internet Warlords does not condone violence, nor do we give legal advice. Any individuals featured on this broadcast are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Well, I'm not a crook.
As we do our final broadcast checks, please take this time to go to internetwarlords.com and find out how you can help support this broadcast. We have apparel and other items available at our online store. Donations are always appreciated but never expected. Please do enjoy yourself and feel free to call in at any time. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to hit the bell icon for live notifications. Welcome to Internet Warlords. Let the war begin. Now your host, the CEO of Internet Warlords, CJ Abduction.
Together, we will make America great again.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ. I was trying to check the audio here, and it looks like. What's up, everybody? Looks like that's not gonna work. That's weird. That's weird. Long time no see. Yeah, no, long time no see for sure. You ever just feel like you're just done with it some days, and then other days you're like, it ain't so bad. We'll get through this shit. Yeah, I was testing something to see if it would let me share this, but it wasn't going to let me share it. So let's see if that changes it. I like to put on a song, test the audio. I don't want your empathy. I just want another enemy. I'm not gonna change a thing for you. I'm over middle ground, and I really wanna burn it down. I'm not your friend, and I won't pretend I am. So don't reach out and I mean that. I'm under siege and I need you to see that. You're on one side, I'm on another, and we will wage war upon each other. I'm no angel, you're not either. I'm at a fever pitch, you're at a leisurely pace. I'm unscathed, I'm unafraid. A warm welcome to the war game.
Welcome to the war game.
Sometimes you just want to play some music. Sometimes you just want to play some music because it'll help explain the mood. So, if you're not following Veteran Liberty Network on TikTok, which I'm assuming most people don't, there's only like 170 something people, or last I checked, following. We're producing something called War Games on TikTok to help support our awareness for veterans issues, along with other issues that people feel that are worthy to compete for. And yeah, that's a theme song for War Games right there. So, all right, so I guess I should introduce myself. I'm your boy CJ. I'm the Internet Warlord, and I'm coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know Meth Dakota, it's the state just south of North Dakota, that Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota, until the Queen of Meth, Governor Kristi Noem, declared by proclamation that we're all on meth, and since then the world's never been the same. Feel free to use the comment section, and I'll be able to put comments on the screen, like Adam's here that says "long time no see," and they can pop up. It's great. I love it. And then also just again, Veteran Liberty Network. Where have you been? Where have you been? Veteran Liberty Network. A veteran nonprofit 501c19 out of the state of Arkansas. I am the vice president of Veteran Liberty Network. And yesterday we had a great board meeting. Yesterday was a pretty great time. We have a meeting tomorrow, but I decided to hop on today because one, I'm sitting here alone. Two, I've got some calls here in about an hour to make. So I had an hour to kill, and I wanted to drink my coffee, and I wanted to talk about whatever comes to mind. Yeah. Hey, man, you should groom your beard. Hey, man, I know I'm never going to see you again. Watch this. Boom. I'm never going to see that person again. When you just want to come here just to criticize, I will snipe you from, I don't know where that person lives. I'm assuming they don't live in the continental United States. So I just digitally executed you from the comforts of my own seat right here. And I have no problem doing that. See, that's the beautiful part. And then you leave, right? Because the number just went down here. And I will never remember your name. Thanks for your time. Goodbye. But yeah, so what a day though. What a day we had yesterday. We actually nominated and selected two commanders for our nonprofit, our first national commander and our first Region 6 commander. So both of them prior Marine active duty service. So one did reservist as well. So we're building a network. It's going to be undeniable. And no matter what anybody on the other end of the screen says, when we're long dead and gone, our nonprofit will still be around kicking ass and taking names. So, yeah, lovely day though. Lovely day. Let's see here. What else do I got to pitch? Yeah, links in the description if you want to join. I'll give anybody who wants to join a few minutes to say their piece. Let's see. If you want to donate, paypal.me/internet warlords. Everything and anything is appreciated. What else? Let's see. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Veteran Liberty Network's there. We got a team there, and so I wanted to bring that to you guys this morning, and kind of use the strengths of our team to help me do what we do, is disseminate some of that information. So the Ghislaine, as I like to call her, the Ghislaine Maxwell case. I know it's Ghislaine, you just Ghislaine, however y'all want to say it. But let's see, where was it? There we go. Boom. This was our secretary, Anthony Sabelli, along with Frank Hand, and they were at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and they were there for day one. So it's not really the best audio. Frank, Anthony, we know better than to film vertically like this. At least I would hope. All right, I still love you guys. But yeah. So this is there. John Jett, Staff Sergeant. You are in the backstage. I don't see you on camera, but I do have you on audio, so I'm going to assume that you're here for a call. John Jett, Staff Sergeant, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, man?
I can. What do you got for us today?
Hey, as far as cash, when's his next hearing? Is it January still, or do they bump it?
Oh, as far as our president, I know that he's got 8 weeks. He's probably got like 3 weeks left of check-ins, but last I had heard it was in January. So, but he hasn't really. I mean, he's kind of avoided going live and discussing all the details, and we haven't really seen him on lives as much, so it's hard to keep track of it completely. But I can get a message out and see if he can give me an update by the end of the broadcast here. Where are you from there, Staff Sergeant?
Yeah, I'm up in New Hampshire.
Sure.
Yeah, so I've talked to Cash before. I know, like the rest of us veterans, we deal with a lot of different support issues and custody battles. I know up here back about a year ago, I dealt with something up in New Hampshire, won that hearing, because again, a lot of these courts, they use our disabled pay to calculate support payments. And so now I'm dealing with the big state of Texas down there, and we're a bunch of jokers. And, I know a lot of veterans, they don't want to hear it. I mean, a lot of veterans, they don't know they have all these rights. They just don't assert themselves,
Right. And it's in that assertion that I've learned that, well, for example, when I deal with the state here, I put it in terms like this: you cannot touch my disability. And then their acknowledgement is they don't even try. But my point is that, like, for some veterans, they say you can use the disability, and some courts believe they can do that even though they can't. Like, it has been faux pas for any government to take any form of disability in form of peonage and debt bondage and slavery. It's like, that is like a taboo. And some courts, yes, they're attempting to do it, but here's where it gets misconstrued. And this is where okay, hang on one second. January 22nd in Illinois for the civil case is his next civil case. How about Arkansas? Yeah, so his court case, he believes, is on the 22nd for your question for his civil case, and I'm asking about the Arkansas stuff now. He says, I don't know about my criminal. I have no other court date that I'm aware of. Okay, good. Good to go. So that's directly from Cash there, Staff Sergeant. We got 22nd of January for his civil case, and there is no further proceedings in Arkansas that he's aware of. So one of the things I was saying is where it got misconstrued in some of these court systems was that the VA does say that, let's say I have two dependents, okay? Let's just my son and my daughter are my dependents. My lady and I split up, and I get what is it, like a couple $100 per kid or something like that? Like it'll be like $225 where I live for two kids or something. What they can do is take that $225 that I would have got, or whatever it is, that small amount that I get for dependents, and use that and calculate that for child support, because that is for dependent, not for the veteran. So that I've seen courts say that they can do, and I kind of agree with that being like the one area that they could. But again, that's to me is it's all human trafficking. We're like, how much does it cost to rent your kids? How much does it cost to, why does our courthouse have to turn into the local child rent-a center? To me, it's obvious. So, but yeah, Staff Sergeant, that's what I got. If you got anything else, floor is yours.
No. I definitely, I think, following you and Cash out there, I think any veteran out there that hasn't already, they do need to join your VLN. It's an incredible resource for all veterans, both.
I'm losing you there, John. Your service. It's got to be. Oh, now it's bringing you on screen. That's weird.
Huh.
I don't know. I usually just leave it on audio where you can just unmute, and because you're not shown, but feel free to unmute yourself and continue.
Oh yeah. So like I was saying, anyone out there that's not on Veterans Liberty Network, you better get out there. It's good stuff. And I'd be interested to know if you guys are gonna put any merch out there. I like to get my hands on some merch.
Well, funny that you asked that. We're kind of in the middle of finalizing some website stuff, and we're trying to get that all taken care of by the end of the week here for what I was starting to talk about is our War Games effort, where we're using TikTok to use cosplay to promote causes and help raise funds for our nonprofit. So, but the merchandise that will be on there, we'll have t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, the whole gambit. We'll have it available by hopefully the end of the week here. And the idea is that if you want to show support, that by purchasing VLN gear and donating to VLN, you're donating to Veterans Doing Media. We're going to teach veterans how to do what we're doing right here, take calls, read comments, engage with an audience, build their brands, and go out into events like we're going to show here in a little bit. At the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, we were in DC. We've gone to rallies, marches, protests. I mean, we do a lot if you really look at it. And we don't really, one thing we've always failed at is not delivering it completely to the screen, to the audience in the best format. So we're trying to get to a 24/7 veteran run media platform where we have different shows, different hosts, different guests, different everything, and different events that we can then promote. And so and yourself being a staff sergeant, you obviously have an interest, because we want to do things with everybody across the country that wants to participate. And I don't know where you're from, John, but where are you from?
Yeah, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. That's right. You said New Hampshire. So you're in region 1, right? So you're right around the corner from Anthony and Frank here. And so I would encourage you to reach out to them. They're pretty close, relatively speaking, to you. So just reaching out and being involved. We are recruiting State commanders were recruiting people that want to get involved and be a part of the first VLN team. So if that's something that sounds like you're interested in that, we have board meetings on Mondays and we have team meetings on Wednesdays and Fridays. So a simple reach out and get involved if you feel like that. So Staff Sergeant, anything else before I get to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? Floor is yours.
No, sir. Thank you all very much again. We'll talk soon.
All right, Staff Sergeant, you're more than welcome to come on Internet Warlords anytime, and thanks again for joining us this morning. So that being said, again, we've got Anthony and Frank out there in New York, and they went to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. I'm not going to play everything on here, but there were several points that I wanted to pause it at, and but Frank and Anthony did such a great job yesterday that we've been talking for a long time. We got to cover the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. We got to cover the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Everybody now is aware of it. Everybody. I'm positive that there's no grown adult watching mainstream media that's not aware that there's a Ghislaine Maxwell trial going on. But I want to make this aware is that we were saying, hey, this Ghislaine Maxwell trial is going to be where it's at years ago, right? Well, here it is. It's happening. So here's the
today, my evening.
There it goes.
Anthony Sabelli, journalist, Veteran Liberty Network. Today, myself and the team, as well as others, we attended the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, the opening. I'm here with Joseph Carvino, forensic psychology major.
Remember, these are first-hand account witnesses.
As well, so we're going to ask him a few questions. How do you think it goes?
It was very interesting, especially in regards to the jury and how they exposed that some of the jurors had financial hardship or that there was other issues within the jury. And the prosecution and the defense really went into very good aspects with the prosecutions really brought up emotion. They really brought into the emotion of the sexual abuse of that. The defense really went into the aspects of memories, false memories, how it was too much of a time gap and everything. So it's very interesting, very complex case.
So now regarding the jury dilemma today, what were some of the issues that they were facing?
Some of the issues that they were facing were, I thought there was some tactics going on that the judge was even doing and that some of the lawyers were doing with, they'll sometimes delay, like, financial hardship, I have to contact the employer. Why wasn't this done already?
Boom. This is our first pause point. Boom. Why wasn't that done already? He asked. He asked a very simple question. Why are they spending the time dealing with juror issues in the most obvious criminal case in our lifetime? This is one of the biggest cases when it comes to human and child sex trafficking. And on day one, they are dealing with the issues of jury but you know what? If this is what it is, if this is how they're gonna do it, so be it. So be it. If you want to join. Boom. All right. Boom. Again, feel free to click the link if you have something you'd like to add. Hello, Craig. Hi, Matt. Who's Matt? Oh, Matt. Hi. You're saying hi. Look, y'all don't even say hi to me to each other. It's just, hey, Matt. Not even, hey, CJ. I'm just the chopped liver in the conversation. It's okay. But yeah, so to his point, why are we dealing with this? Why wasn't this stuff thought of beforehand? Great question. I'd love to know the answer.
Pretty long.
Yeah.
I think it took about at least 2 hours, to do that. And then, what was it, right before they sorted this out? I mean, they sorted it out, right, and then right after they sorted it out, they took a break for lunch for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, do you recall the first witness that the government had?
The first witness, and that's where I did
That's
not.
the pilot.
But we did see though outside here recently about one of the victims that was coming out of the courthouse, and so it was just a very interesting experience seeing some of that.
Would you like to harp on some of that since we didn't get to see that victim?
So this one, I don't know her name, but she was the one wearing the red hat, the dress, and everything, and she kind of just dodged the press. The press is all out here, and it was very interesting. It was just very action packed, so there wasn't much to do. A lot of people were asking questions. She didn't answer any, of course, but
So, how long do you think this trial is going to take, based on how it's going?
There's so many exhibits. So,
Well, how do you recall how many exhibits
I
roughly?
think, well, what I've heard from people were more like 2.7 million or something. So,
Woo! 2.7 million exhibits. 2.7 million exhibits. Do you really think that that's just for shits and giggles? It's to overwhelm. It's to make this so drawn out that it will take let's see here, 2.7 million. Let's do some basic. I like Mike Tyson. Basic. I can't say my S's. Basic. Let's type let's get a calculator. Let's get a good old quackulator, because we're not gonna be able to do this. Let's see here. So 2.7 million exhibits. Now, let's just say there's only, because of the government, 7.5 working hours in a day. Okay. Yep. What just happened? Let's say that there's only 7.5 working hours in a day, assuming that they take a half-hour lunch. Okay. You're looking at it taking 360,000 working days. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's working days. Right? Am I wrong? Is my math wrong? Did I do funny math on my quackulator? Tell me, did I do funny math on my quackulator? If they have 2.7 million exhibits, am I saying the statement wrong? Help me out here, internet. This is a live interactive show. We do this together. How many hours? We're trying to write the equation here for how many hours, how many days, excuse me, how many working days will it take them to go through that if there's only 7.5 working hours? How did I say that wrong? I'm pretty sure I'm saying this wrong. Is it 360 working hours, or no, it's days. It's got to be days. Did I say that right? Somebody help me out here. I'm trying to do the math. I want to get the math equation right. You get the math equation right for how long it's going to take on an average 7.5 hour day. Wait, that's per day. So then, right? That's how many days it would take, right? And then you got to divide that down again by the 7.5 again to get how many hours. So, right? All right, internet, come on now. I got 5 of you watching. Somebody out there's got better brain noodle than this guy. Try this again. Let's try this again. If you have 2.7 million exhibits, okay? And you only have no. Oh, are you assuming you'll spend 1 hour per issue? No, I'm saying I want to know like, okay, so they only, again, we know they only have on an average statist government. We'll actually give them the credit of 8 hours. Let's just go with 8 hours in the work day. So now what does that actually mean when you break that down by work day? So there's 8 hours. That's how many days it's going to take. Or that's how many issues you got to cover in a day, excuse me, or how am I supposed to be saying this? Why can't I? No, it's the lack of coffee, folks. Let's take a break and go to our sponsors. if only that's how it worked. This is why I need a producer. I'll be sitting here like, Jim, get me off screen. Play some other video. It's too early for math, okay? You just heard the guy they're interviewing say 2.7 million exhibits. So we know this. Now, how do we break that down into how long? Because that's the question. We're trying to estimate how much time this is going to take based on the fact that there's 2.7 million exhibits. And we also know that each exhibit can be talked about for an unlimited exponential amount of time. So I'm trying to, like, 8 hours in a day. So if you broke that down 2.7 million into 8 hours in a day, trying to, again, we might as well just call this episode CJ Tries to Figure Out Math. And that equation might actually take longer than this show might take longer than it'll take me to figure out that equation. This trial might take longer. I don't know why I can't get my math straight this morning. It is what it is. How are you doing, Matt? So, how do we figure this out? Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Let's try to do some funny math, okay? There's 24 hours in a day. And there's 60 minutes in an hour. So that's 1440. And then let's do 2.7 million. Even if it took a minute. See, now my math's all jacked up. I'm confusing everybody. Claire's got to guess at this. Here we go. 2.7 million divided by 1 hour per day. I don't know if that's it either. I think that's what I was doing, Claire. How do we figure out the estimate for how long it's going to take 2.7 million things, and there's only an 8-hour workday? So inside that 8-hour workday, they could process X exhibits. See, this is why we need a mathematician on the team. I need a time estimate for each one times the number of okay, yes. Time. Yep. See, Craig and I we're getting on the same page here. So we're gonna figure this out. How long does it take to introduce an exhibit? Are some exhibits bundled together? We don't know. Either way, yeah. Either way. We're going to figure out. Maybe that's the question of the day. Maybe how long do you think it will take to do 2.7 million exhibits? And just the look on his face right here. That's why I stopped it, because that's what my brain's doing right now, folks. This is where my brain is at right now. Trying to pick. I don't know. I just 2.7 million. It could. I mean, here we go. Let's see. There's a good Google question. Let's Google a question, right? I like to Google a question. How long would it take to count to 1 million?
According to airanspace.c.edu, 1 million. To count to 1 million will take you about 11 days.
Okay, just to count, we know just to count to 1 million would take 11 days. Okay, now this is, so we're talking 22 days. And so more like a month. And that's just if you count, right? If you just to count, it's going to take a month, even if you just count. I mean, we're just learning these factors here, you know, so, but, yeah, so, let's see here. Yeah. Let's see here. 1 hour per issue is 2.7 million divided by 8 hours is 337,000 working days. And that's if it's 1 hour per issue, per exhibit. So now divide 337,000 by 365. So where's my calculator? Let's just base it off of your math here. Divided by 365. It is going to take our government, if they spent 1 hour per issue on this matter, 923 years to do the trial here. So so yeah, and again, for the record, Ghislaine is professing her innocence. She's not coming right out and being like, "Hi, I used to sex traffic children for the rich and elite," although they're all in my little black book. And you know, don't look at it the way that you think it is. This is not the sex trafficking ring you were looking for. It's like, okay, all right. Again, everybody's presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But when you're sitting there with the elite of the world and 440,000 missing American children happen every single year, yeah. There's some people in some high places doing some shady shit. I promise you it's not CJ Abernathy sitting here. I promise you it's not CJ Abernathy sitting here trafficking 440,000 missing American children. I promise you it's not the president of Veteran Liberty Network who's phoned in oh so graciously this morning while I'm live streaming.
I figured you were.
Well, why don't you join me? I'm talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. I've got Anthony and Frank's video from the first day trial up. We're trying to figure out how long it's going to take them to go through 2.7 million exhibits.
All right, let's, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know that until today, and now you just said that. See, we've been trying to figure out the math for the last 10 minutes about how long it would take. And right now, our best estimate is 923 years if their attorneys focused on 1 hour per issue of exhibit. So, but you are live on Internet Warlords, the war for the internet. So, you know, make sure you mind your P's and Q's and don't give me banned this morning, Mr. Jackson.
Hey, look, the goal is not to get banned. The goal is to further the conversation.
Absolutely.
Debate, right? It's to further the dialogue. And in order for me to further dialogue, I got to mind my P's and Q's, buddy.
I know, and I can appreciate the self-censorship to a certain point when we're trying to keep it professional. You know, it wouldn't behoove any of us if your vice president just started going off and rah, 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 rah this morning. Although, you know, I'm capable of doing that, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Barnyard noises around here.
And yeah, so yeah, we had a staff sergeant from New Hampshire, John, call in and ask about you, and so that's why I asked you those questions. He's a supporter there.
Okay. Well,
Say again?
yeah, about that. I really think that it's time we sometime today we sat down and mapped out that show calendar and got each one of those put in place and started filling. Sorry, my roommate over here is trying to turn his phone off.
Yeah. Sounds like he's playing harmonica on our end.
He got up and ran with it.
Jim Freedom coming in this morning. You should be streaming on Odyssey, so you don't have to worry about being deleted for what you say. Yeah, you know, that's the funny thing is that to me it's, you know, I just think it's a part of life at this point, you know, like, and then we can go to platforms that have no audience, and this one it doesn't have an audience. So really, what is the point on where you're broadcasting other than if you might say the one thing the government decides to on for 30 days? It's not like we're making money on any of the accounts. So it's not like people are like, here, CJ, here's my money because you switched to platform. It's not, it doesn't work like that.
On TikTok the other day, and I made 6 cents, dude. 6
yeah,
cents.
dude, I made 10 cents the other day on TikTok, homie. I was like, woo, I'm balling.
Hey, you know what made me laugh though? When it says that you had 94% more viewership than the average live streamer.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so if I've got more viewership on that live, because that's what it says. It breaks it down. That's one of the cool things. It breaks it down by the live feed, and it gives you the analytics if you look at them on TikTok. And so it says, you know, you're making more than 94% of, or you're getting more viewership than 94% of the average live streamer. And I'm going, and I made 6 cents. I'm in the top 6%.
Yeah.
And I made 6 cents.
Right. Hey, Craig makes a great point about the Ghislaine Maxwell thing is that government isn't that efficient. It would take longer. So even with 2.7 million exhibits, and they can do, if they made it 1 hour per issue, it would still take 923 years. But hang on, and this is the big but, that's assuming that the government is efficient enough to do one exhibit every hour.
That's insanity.
Yeah, and that's giving them a lot of credit. So this is why it's like the irony in this is that think about how many people are going to look at this trial and go, it's justice. We're going to get justice. And it's like, no, it's not how justice really works. I mean, it's statism justice. It's predetermined storyline justice for your narrative folk. But it's not like it's going to bring justice to the 440,000 missing American children every year. It's not going to.
No, and I think this trial is really important because I believe we might start seeing.
And Jim also brings up another good point. That's assuming the government was planning on going through all the evidence to begin with. Oh.
Well, you know what? Somebody has to, and I think that you're going to need a lot of people looking at the material, which we know there will be.
So basically, who in Veteran Liberty Network would like to volunteer today and spend the rest of your life combing through the evidence? Anybody want to just like?
Well, I've only got about, I don't know, average lifespan of a man, is what, like 75 years old. I might have another 30, 32 years on this planet. And right now we've got 440,000 missing American kids. And if us...
No, that's per year. That's per year. That's per year, Cash. 10 NFL football stadiums. We determined this. 10 NFL football stadiums of children go missing every year in the United States. That was the math we worked out in your garage. It was 10 NFL football stadiums of children go missing every year in the United States.
Go missing, we have that new amount every year, or is it this number continues to exist each year?
Well, which one was it? Because that's my question. Is it 500,000 kids every year? Because again, it would be if 10. You would hope and pray that if 10 football stadiums of children go missing every year, that it would be a daily conversation.
Yeah, well, you would think it'd be a daily conversation that nearly 500,000 missing American kids exist in this nation, and not one politician, not one presidential candidate, none of them talk about it. And that is the most confounding thing to me, that, whenever I stumbled upon the number, and I say stumbled, it's, I guess like many other people, whenever I first saw the number, I'm like, wow, that's a lot, and then you just kind of go about your daily life. But if you really take some time to let that marinate and think about it for a moment, nearly 500,000 missing American children, and nobody is talking about that number and how we got to there.
Well, hold up, player. I always like to stop people when they say nobody's talking. It's like, wait a minute, player.
You're right.
You are, and we are. So
you've been talking about it. I've been talking about it. Others have been talking about it. But let me clarify. When I say nobody, the talking heads and the politicians, those who are in office, those who are legitimately seeking office, those Republicans, Democrats.
Oh, here we go. Ready for this? Hey, ready for this? There, Mr. Jackson. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. This is according to Crime Prevention and Safety Center. Okay, it's a Los Angeles criminal attorney that deals with missing and abducted children. And according to them, every 40 seconds, a child goes missing or is abducted in the United States. Approximately 840,000 children are reported missing each year, and the FBI estimates that between 85 and 90% of those are children. These are children. So let's see. While most reports of missing or abducted children are resolved within hours, many situations where a child goes missing or is extended period of time following. So that's how many go missing, and according to them. But it says that most reports are resolved within hours. But what's the actual? Let's see. A family abduction. Okay, so there's the Amber Alert system they talk about, the family abduction. Family kidnappings make up half of all reported abductions in the United States. Family abduction is typically committed by a parent that is involved in a significantly higher proportion of female perpetrators. Family abduction is typically committed by parents, and it involves a significantly higher portion of female perpetrators when compared to other kidnapping offenses. Children under the age of 6 are most frequently targeted for family abductions, and these often occur in the midst of a bitter divorce or child custody battle between parents. Family abduction poses unique issues for law enforcement, as the child may be unwilling to leave his or her abductor, and other family members may be involved in concealing and aiding the abducting parent.
That does happen frequently.
That is a fact. And for how many days have you not seen your kids? 3 years, 7 years for me. So that's what it is. Your kids have been abducted and kidnapped. And there are people that are aiding and abetting and concealing for the abducting parent. This is how a lawyer's speaking. He calls it family abduction. So they use the family court to abduct your children.
Yes.
And so this is where it says it poses unique issues for law enforcement. And so it's a very interesting thing. So like these simping TikTokers, all they're doing is really encouraging the same cycle that they themselves, like, you ever seen those simps on TikTok that just simp for single mothers that are like over the top, like You know what I'm talking about. There's a few of them. There's a few of them that are on there, and it's disgusting. And they're usually the ones that I was raised by a single mother. So it's like, so wait a minute, player, you don't realize the disgusting nature of what you're promoting here. You know, the demasculation of men and fathers by you simping for women over the internet for issues that are easily disproven, and you won't. It's not like they're gonna stop and go, you know what, that Cash Jackson and CJ Abernathy over there at Veteran Liberty Network discussing how it's a bigger issue than just it being deadbeat dads. Right. You know, and it's like, and in their narrow, you know, they can't even comprehend in their narrow-mindedness that it's not just a bunch of dads that abandon their kids. That's their daddy issues being projected on TikTok. And because all these simp-enabled single mothers who need to have simps in their life because they couldn't handle an alpha male. They can't handle somebody who is their quote-unquote divine masculinity. They can't handle that. So they need simping betas, as they're called, you know, men that are not really even men. They're Benedict Arnolds to their own gender. And it's like you don't see how it was a simp that enabled your mother to treat your father the way she did, that kept you from your father for years on end. Like, you don't recognize that, then you have the issues, not me. I've come to terms with issues on 90s divorces, 80s divorces, and how they were done. You know, I mean, your TV tells you you're an abused wife just sitting in there in your kitchen, and that man that's out there working in the oil fields, he's abusive and a drunk and an alcoholic, and you should leave him. There's better men out there. And then you watch your daytime soaps, and then she has an affair. He finds out, and he gets a little drunk, and yeah, guess what? He might have smacked her. Maybe. I don't know. I don't condone it. But I'm not sitting here saying that a lot of these women don't put themselves in those situations, that society doesn't breed them to treat them, how to teach women how to be victims. I mean, again, I in the 2014, it was so obvious to me how women are teaching women how to be victims. It's sickening. Because here's the truth, Mr. Jackson. And I'm not trying to talk over you here, but you know, the point I'm trying to make is that you could take a room filled with 100 women, and you could show them the domestic violence statistics by the Department of Justice, and show them 100 women that 50% of them are lying about their domestic violence abuse status, and every one of those 100 women will still say they're a victim.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. Not one of them is going to go, I was the one that was lying about my abuse. I was the one that gaslit my ex-husband until he went crazy. And then I could play the victim. Not one of them. Not one of them. Not one of them is going to be like, yeah, I financially controlled and sexually controlled my husband by using sex against him. Not one of them is going to admit to them actually doing what we already know women do, because we watch it. We're men. I can sit here and tell you, I've seen women that teach women how to be victims. I've seen it on the internet. And here's how it usually happens. They take a real victim, and then they just go for the gusto and start adopting their story and how they narratives and and that's all they do. They just and then they find their simp, and
hey, I got to get you to digress for a moment because I've got court watching to do this morning.
Well, why don't we do it live for everybody?
Well, we can try that. But I don't know how I'm going to do that. I have to get on the Zoom.
Well, I'll put Zoom on my screen, and then I'll put Zoom on my screen, and then we can just watch the court proceedings while on Zoom.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just, I can just broadcast. I'm just going to broadcast Jeff here on Veteran Liberty Network. How about that? And you can just share the stream. Will that work?
I guess. I mean, I guess. I don't really know how that's going to work. I mean, you could, well, hold on. Why don't you click my StreamYard link, then set your camera up to film him, and then we can just talk that way. What's he going to court for?
All right, send me the StreamYard link. It starts in 4 minutes.
It's
so
in the Telegram chat.
All right. I'm going. I got the phone.
Okay. Let's watch court, says Mr. Dombrowski. Yes, sir. Let's watch court. Let's be there for Jeff today. It pays to be a victim in society, sadly. And that, Craig, is what I'm talking about. That is the issue, is that by claiming a victim status, they are opening doors to financial benefits and creating a debt slave out of the other parent to the point where they'll never be able to get out of that debt bondage. Mr. Jackson, look at that, from call to on the screen like that.
Like that.
Veteran Liberty Network on the ball today.
On it.
I need
that was clipped.
So covering a lot today, I guess. But yeah, see, look, there's already a need for what we're asking for. The public would like to watch court.
Yeah, the public has a vested interest. So let's talk about that real quick. So with me, I've got, you want to tell them your name or?
Jeff Larson.
Hold on 1 second.
You know better than to have your screen like that, Mr. Jackson.
Look, I'm trying to figure out how to flip this, the camera around on Larson.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were like trying to say, figure out how to flip your camera.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't see, this part of the problem with StreamYard is I just have to twist my phone around because it won't allow you to flip the camera view once you're in studio.
Oh, yes, it will, actually. There's an option to do that. You should have headphones in.
Courtroom. Waiting to be let into the virtual courtroom. That's what we're waiting on. Court is virtual. These judges will oftentimes threaten you with contempt, incarceration, all these things. We're journalists. We're investigative journalists. We're disabled investigative journalists. And we're just, this is what we call a transparency audit check. We like to hear it when judges give instructions such as, if you record, they'll make sure that nobody else is in the room, like Judge Christensen does in Lake County. She's got this little procedure where she'll make you swing the camera around, basically go through your whole house, invade your privacy, look around your home, make sure that nobody's in there.
Oh, wow. Oh, here we go, connecting. Okay. Okay. I'm muted. Should be.
Hi, good morning. A few admonishments with regard to remote court proceedings. Remote court proceedings by video teleconferencing with Zoom are an extension of the physical courtroom. Counsel and all case participants should behave as if they were present in the court. The court maintains the only official record of the proceedings. Recording the proceedings is not allowed by anyone except the official court reporter or the court through the approved recording system. A violation of these rules constitutes contempt of court. Please mute yourself when you are not speaking. Right now, the court has muted everyone. The microphone icon can be used to mute or unmute. Please take a moment to locate that microphone. When I begin calling cases, you will have the ability to unmute yourself to speak. Please be sure the printed name on the screen that identifies you during the proceeding is your legal name. To change the name that appears on your screen, right-click on that name, select Rename, and type the appropriate legal name. You are required to participate in this court appearance without the aid of others who may be off camera. By using the video teleconference to make a court appearance, you are representing to the court that you are participating personally without the aid of other persons or resources or devices. The court has the right to terminate this remote proceeding if the video experience, audio experience, or any other condition, including the ability or willingness of participants to abide by court policies, orders, and directives, is deemed unacceptable. If you are disconnected from the Zoom proceeding and want to rejoin, you can use the same URL, McHenry Courtroom 358. No password is needed. If you have technical difficulties with or different issues with your equipment, you should review Zoom training and support materials at zoom.us. All right, then. Seawall Inc. et al. Versus Charles Jennings, 21 CH 119.
Morning, Your Honor. No Bautista on behalf of the plaintiff.
Bautista.
Your Honor, this one comes up for status today. We are still pending service. If we could, I'd like to continue to March 3rd or March 10th for further status.
Okay, March 10th then. And that will be then at 9:45 a.m.
Yes.
Great, and then it'll be for status.
Great. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for your order ahead of time.
Of course.
All right, Lakeview Loan Servicing versus Gilberto Herrera, 17CH 848.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Wegman on behalf of plaintiff. This is our motion to dismiss the case as well as vacate the judgment orders.
Okay, judgment of foreclosure then entered on December 17th, 2019 is vacated and the case is dismissed without judgment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Wells Fargo Bank versus Daryl Jenkins, 20CH 7, line 3.
Morning, Your Honor. Chris Cianao for plaintiff.
And this looks like this is up on plaintiff's motion for leave to file an amended complaint.
That is correct, Judge. We're just adding the spouse who resides at the residence as a party defendant. And we submitted we've heard no objection, and we've submitted a proposed order.
Yes, thank you for the proposed order ahead of time, Mr. Cianao. Also, my understanding was there was also some type of possible short sale. Has that fallen through? Do you know?
Yeah. Our client is still reviewing a deed in lieu possibility with the defendant.
All right, then.
But
all right, thank you. Good luck.
And Judge, we have a January 26th date out there that can stand.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, U.S. Bank versus Jeffrey Larson, 18CH 44, line 5.
okay, how do I?
Good morning, Your Honor. Rob Spickerman for plaintiff.
Okay.
Larson, you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Good morning.
All right, and this is up, it looks like, for approval of sale. And Mr. Larson, I'm trying to think, it looks like they are not seeking in personam deficiency judgment, looks like they're only seeking 30 days possession. Is that my understanding, Mr. Spickerman?
That's correct, Your Honor.
I do have one question, though. I only have one publication. I did not see the second.
Check the docs that I have.
Your Honor. Well, he's looking.
Yes, Mr. Larson.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. What is it?
So, from what I can gather, are you saying that after the sale of the house, I'm not responsible for the balance of what's owed?
If he is not seeking a personal deficiency judgment against you, it is unlikely that they will be able to collect the judgment. Yes, because they're not giving a personal deficiency judgment against you at this time, and they could have.
Okay.
Now that may have some effects as far as taxes, because if there's a
Well, I'm disabled, ma'am. I haven't filed taxes since 2012. That was part of the reason for the modification. I'm just really surprised $243,000 balance is going to be settled on less than $48,000. I'm grateful. Just to me, the math just doesn't add up.
Right now, why was the bid so low?
Because the house is not worth $243,000. It's not funny, but there's no way the house is. They had me up to $296,000 on that house, and like I said, the math just doesn't add up.
All right, hold on, Mr. Spickman.
Yeah, Your Honor, if we can just continue a week, then I can get the documents over to you. I'm looking, I see the pub that we have that was filed on November 17.
I'm actually living in a camper right now. When this mortgage was modified, the last thing I ever thought I was going to have to worry about is a roof over my head.
All right, Mr. Larson, I understand that at this point in time, though, the only thing that is pending is what date now we're going to set this for. It is December 7th, Mr. Spickerman, or December 8th? What works best for you?
The 7th, Your Honor.
That works for me.
All right, there'll be an order then to be prepared.
Yes.
And we'll send it over to December 7th then at 9:45 a.m. And Mr. Spickerman, if you could please prepare that order and send it to the proposed order so the court can sign it.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, order to come. Thank you.
Thank you. That's how the government takes your home.
So that's Lake County, Illinois. Jeff is a friend of mine here who has been in the same courts with literally the same judges that I have. Judge Joe Salvi in his family law case, followed by Judge Janelle Christensen. They were, Jeff, do you want to tell them what you were paying on in regards to, say, child support, and how did the financial part affect you going now? Because the court we were just in was for his real estate, for his home, and his home is being foreclosed. Is that being
foreclosed? It's done.
So,
like there's nothing she can do.
So they foreclosed on your home, right?
Yeah, they foreclosed on my home.
So they foreclosed on, and what drove the foreclosure? How did you go from owning a home to foreclosure?
I've been fighting U.S. banks. I've been fighting the banks on my house since 2009.
I know, but what caused you to fight with the banks?
Fraud. In 2009, my court case with the house started. In 2011, the court case with family law started. Then in 2012, I'm in a car accident. lost, what, 50% of my income. I had to pay lawyers. I had to pay GAL fees.
So you
had
take
to
an
pay
income
child
loss.
support.
Your income loss came after you were in a car wreck, right? Because you were a mechanic.
What's that?
Your income loss.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right.
The car accident was November 12th. I was let go December 6th.
What injuries did you sustain in that car wreck? What happened? I mean, you were just real quick.
Broke my previous fusion at C6, C7, separated both of my shoulders, and pinched both ulnar nerves in my elbow.
And that was a result of being T-boned?
I was hit from behind while stopped at a stoplight.
Rear-ended. I'm sorry, rear-ended.
That's the second time that's happened.
Okay.
First time was in 1995, and then again in 2012. Same thing, sitting at a stoplight. Pow.
Got smacked.
Yes. The first time I was hit so hard, the back seat of the seat just literally went straight back. I was staring at the headliner of the vehicle. Yeah, that one really screwed me up.
All right. So you're on disability, and you go through family court. You're on disability. You're on fixed income at that time, right?
Yep. And they ordered me to pay $500 in child support, knowing that I was getting $2,500 a month. My mortgage was roughly almost $1,600 a month. By the time I paid all my utilities, there wasn't very much left over.
And you're not allowed to make more than an additional $1,000?
Oh, I wasn't allowed to make any additional money at that point. And then, thanks to my ex, she contacted the insurance company, because I had private disability insurance through my employer.
Right.
And it's pretty ironic that my house gets broken into while I'm in the hospital. One of the things that was taken was my birth certificate, my social security card, and a paycheck stub, or because every month I received a check, so I had this stub, right? So next thing I know, I'm in a hospital. I'm in ICU when I get notified that they cut me off.
Cut you off. So let's just kind of bring it in. He's been on this feed for well over an hour. He's like an hour and 12 minutes.
Just
so.
I got
what's happening here in these proceedings, right? I want people to know what.
I got all the time in the world today, gentlemen.
All right. Well, we do it. Well, we do and we don't.
You know, Judge Christensen seems to think that my PTSD from legal abuse syndrome is just caused by her, which he's totally wrong. I mean, U.S. Bank modified my mortgage. I went from a $1,255 a month principal and interest payment down to $193.96. So for $194 a month, I was buying my house. Now,
how did you go from that? How did you go from $1,200 down to like $200?
I filed for a modification. Now you have to understand at this point.
What kind of a modification?
Okay, so CJ, you said you have all the time in the world. I'm going to go into this a little deeper. I purchased my house at the worst possible time. I purchased my house in June of 2006. It was the height of the bubble. And I purchased my house for $158,000. And at that time, I was making, to me, good money, and I could afford it. So for the first 5 months, everything was perfect. As soon as the first came around, the money was taken out of my account, and everything was fine. December of 2006 rolls around, the money doesn't come out of my account. I actually had to go through my mom's real estate agent to find out who the hell purchased my mortgage, and it turns out it's a company called Litton Loan Servicing out of Texas.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. For people who haven't ever bought a home before, your mortgage might be through, like, I get a mortgage through USAA, and then oftentimes they sell those mortgages off to other banks, and so another bank will actually take ownership, and now they basically, it's like a lateral transfer of your debt, your mortgage, over to another lending institution who purchased that off that other bank. And so they're basically like purchasing, and what they're after is that interest, right?
Right. But here's the thing. These mortgages are lumped together and they're sold to these companies as derivatives. Okay. So as this can get rather complicated. So the people that buy these derivatives also purchase an insurance policy from AIG, so that if you as the mortgage holder default on your loan, right, AIG pays them.
Right. So they're the insurer.
There's a total conflict of interest there.
So their AIG would be,
because this is very important in my case. You got to remember, I'm paying $678 a month for this home that they modified, right? But if I default, they get $1,650. They get the original note from the insurance company, not the modified amount, the original note amount.
Okay, so when the loan's transferred, your original note was how much?
My original note would have been $1,255. So my original note was about $1,700 after I paid my escrow and my mortgage.
Okay, so
my principal and interest.
Lake County, Illinois. If you don't know, property taxes extremely high. McHenry County, which is a sister county,
same thing.
Same thing, right? That is in the northeast corner of the state of Illinois. A home costing about $160,000. Not unusual for it to have, a property tax range of $3,500 to probably $5,500.
I had a lot that was a corner lot, size of a postage stamp, small house, big garage. That's exactly what I wanted. I paid
median home value. There you go.
I paid almost $5,000 a year in property tax.
So this man paying almost $5,000 a year in property tax on a home that comes out, it would be reasonably affordable at an average market interest rate, then becomes exponentially less affordable at the rate at which they increase property taxes in that region. So we're talking Cook County, DuPage, Lake, McHenry. So what we're known as the collar counties around Cook County. Cook County is where Chicago is, of course. 6 million people there in just one county. There's 102 counties in the state of Illinois. Half of them are located in Cook, and these taxes that we're talking about is a significant factor where they drive foreclosures, because they rapidly increase the property taxes, and they did. I own a home there in Lake County, 2009 till I think we sold it in 2015 during the divorce. My taxes went from $4,500 to almost $9,000 in less than 6 years. From $4,500 to almost $9,000 in less than 6 years. That was Lake County, Illinois. Okay,
because they
what's the Lake County zip code?
60046 is where my home was. Lake County, or I'm sorry, Lake Villa. Villa.
And what was the assessed property home value?
I'll send you my go to 1318 Cedar Lake Road. Pull up that house. That was my marital home. 1318 Cedar Lake Road.
1318
Cedar Lake Road, Lake Villa.
Cedar Lake Road, Lake Villa.
Yeah, you'll see.
What was the assessed home property value?
Oh, I don't recall.
200,000, 300,000.
Oh, close. It was closer to 3.
So we'll just say 300,000 just for shits and giggles, and we want Lake County. This is what your tax bill is according to Lake County if you live there today.
Same.
Per year on a
$300,000
home.
Of course. So that's an average over the county, right? I don't know if you pull up. I mean, if you pull up, you can pull up the specific house. Pull up my old address.
It won't do it on this one. I don't know.
Oh, you can look it up on Zillow, right? It'll show you
Zillow.
on Zillow. It'll show you what it last sold for, as well as the property tax.
Zillow.com and enter the address. What was it again? 1381.
No, 1318.
18
Cedar Lake Road.
Cedar Lake Road.
Lake Villa.
Lake Villa. Boom. Hey, that house is now $310,000. All right. So
far off.
So recently,
my old house right there, man.
So where would I find the taxes?
Just scroll down. Should be there. It'll be in. They'll have some amplifying information.
Units, features, facts, neighborhood, legal protections, nearby schools. Yeah, it's not giving me a tax on here. That's a beautiful home, though.
Yeah, go through the photos of it, man. This was my home. This is what I was paying for from 2012 to 2014.
I wonder if you're the one that put the flag on there.
Well, from 2012 to 2014, whenever my ex-wife and I were separated, I was paying the mortgage on this home that she was living in with our kids. And so she got to live there, had me out of the picture. This is, one of those common things, right? But anyways, and when the marital home was sold, even though I had been paying the mortgage, she got to keep all of the proceeds of the sale of the home. I didn't get one penny. Not one.
I mean, it's an absolute beautiful home, no doubt. I mean, any family, what kind of family doesn't want an office like this or beautiful hardwood flooring like that? Like,
yeah, that was my bedroom. Right.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful home overall.
Yep.
Yeah, kids' rooms.
Yeah, those are my kids' bedrooms. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, they called me a dead.
I mean, it's got to be.
Even though
look at that beautiful backyard, man. Just room for days right there.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
look at that.
Yeah, but you were a deadbeat. Yeah, look at that.
But I was paying for that while she was pocketing her.
Yep.
Let's digress off that, right? Point being,
hang on, real quick. Ted Bush is watching. He's got some breaking news.
Oh, all right, Ted.
Ted, if you want, there's a link in the description on Facebook here. You can click on and break the news yourself if you'd like. Or I can put. What's that?
That'd be better. Yeah, Ted, if you can hear me, man, just click on that link and go to the StreamYard, and you'll come into the guest.
And I'll just bring you right on, and you'll pop up right down here.
Oh.
But yeah, man. So they can call you a deadbeat, even providing this with your family and
so they brought up for 2 years, CJ, that I was living homeless because I was living in Washington while she stayed in Illinois in that home with our children. My paycheck paid the mortgage. I could go upstairs right now in my office and pull you the banking statements to show my E6 pay in the military was paying for that home while I lived in Washington. She stayed there, and her $85,000 to nearly $100,000 a year salary, she was pocketing. So she got to live there without making any house payment. I was making it. She didn't contribute to it. I was paying the utilities. I was paying her cell phone. I was paying her student loan, all out of my E6 pay. Okay.
And you're the deadbeat.
And I'm the deadbeat. Now, for 2 years, I lived on couches and in spare bedrooms so that my family could stay there.
So they could have this. They could have this while you serve in the military.
I slept on a twin-size bed in a tiny bedroom. And I'm thankful that I had that twin-size bed. I wasn't street. But you know what? To call me a deadbeat while I was providing that for years, being apart from my family? No, sir.
I mean, oh, dude, just look at the night picture. Look at what they did here, Cash. So check this out. This is yeah, look at this. Look at this. They do night and day. Look at that, dude. That's like, yeah, you're a total deadbeat, dude. Total deadbeat. They put that. That's hilarious.
my ex-wife Julia and my.
I mean, again, this is what a deadbeat is, right? That's a deadbeat. No, looks like I lost Mr. Jackson. He probably got a phone call or his phone died. One of the two. One of the two. I don't want to. I read what Ted Bush has here, and I'm hoping Ted will join. Yeah, we deserve to break this live, Ted says. So, yeah, you know. Oh, wait, I'm on my way to the hospital for chemo. I should tell you this before I am shut down. No, you should join us if you got a minute. Even in your vehicle, you can still, with your cell phone, you can still join and break the news. But yeah, I see what you said about Judge Christensen there, and I don't even want to call them judges anymore. I really don't. Like, so I see what you say about human trafficker Christensen. You know, and I don't really know exactly what you're saying and how you're saying it there, but where were we? I feel like I should just wait for Cash to join. While we do that, again, if you want to help out with VLN, we do have team calls Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Anybody's welcome to hop on the call. There'll be a StreamYard link that'll go out to everybody on our chat there, and you'll be able to join in and participate. And we're hopefully going to be filling more commander positions here in the next week, so that'll help expand our board and bring more members on. And we got a lot of things we're going to be doing. I wanted to talk about war games here today. I wanted to cover the Ghislaine Maxwell case. I wanted to, but we ended up going to court. I mean, this is why I love the internet, because anything's possible. You could say, I want to start off by talking with this, and before you know it, you're in court, or you're talking about things that you never would have known before. Also, fun fact, a lot of people don't realize this, but I do this a lot, right? I do this a lot, and nobody really, like, it's just a kind of a habit that I developed. So in StreamYard, you can't really see, like when somebody else has access to the producer side of StreamYard, you can all see each other. You can see everybody. And so as producers, you can see like other producers that are in here have access to the same level you do. And so one of the things that that I just got used to doing is this. And it's actually the sign for mute, right? So so you'll see me do this a lot. And you know, it's just my way of saying, you know, I'm muted, or, you know, I can click the button here. So let's see. Did I miss any comments up here? I don't really want to put the breaking news on here, Ted, until Cash is back on and he can figure that out. If you decide not to join us this morning, I know chemo is a bitch. So hey, if you don't want to join, I understand that too. So yeah. So I guess we just wait for Mr. Jackson to connect back up. I want to continue to play, and I'll remind you where we were at with this saga of the day one with Ghislaine Maxwell, Anthony Sabelli, and Frank Hand out there in New York, and we were trying to figure out how much time it's going to take to go through just the exhibits in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So we'll play this until I can get Cash back. I'll be right back.
It could take a long time, this trial, definitely. I don't know how much, but definitely I would think maybe a year or so easily. If
now, one of the interesting things that Frank and I were talking about during the proceeding was, you know, the fact that minors were taking trips with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of the crew. We were thinking like, hey, what was up with these kids' parents at the time? You know, what kind of parents would allow their children to just go away with someone? You know, like, especially from the world that we're stuck in right now, child neglect and abuse and false allegations and protracted litigation. Don't you think that's a bit odd that parents are just letting their children go take trips?
My response to this would be, I don't know, let's say, if the parents were fully aware at first of what was going on, and then the aspect of how if they did realize what was going on now and that they still continued, is very interesting given the coercive nature of the case and how Epstein and Maxwell treated these individuals.
Well, if these children were your children, would you initially send them away with a middle-aged man?
No, you wouldn't. But at the same time, this is where, if like the prosecution was saying that they, about the scholarships, about the college, about the promising a career, all this stuff. So, it seems promising, but sometimes, this is also a cover up for a lot of that.
Yeah, it made me think about September 10th of this year, a judge in Ohio who was getting raided by the FBI, who shot himself, who was putting cameras in showers.
Okay, so real quick, now that I'm back here on the live, it had an issue with trying to play the rest of that video. I do have Cash on the phone here, and he's got Ted Bush for this explosive breaking news. So whenever you're ready, gentlemen, go ahead and I'll get this pulled up.
He said we can't hardly hear you, man.
This is why you guys should just click the StreamYard link and it'd be way easier. Just click the StreamYard link, Cash, Ted. It's way easier. You don't have to be on video.
Hey Ted, you have time? Ted's walking in the hospital.
Yeah, actually I'm on Dempster Street. I'm about 2 blocks from the Center for Advanced Care.
Hey, that StreamYard link, just go to that StreamYard link and just do audio only if you don't want to do video, but it'll
Yeah, I don't have the StreamYard link, so
I'll send it to you, Ted. I'll send it to you.
All right, well maybe I can do that while I wait for the
It's in your chat right now. It's already there right now.
But you guys are live, and okay, so basically what happened is I just flipped on my Facebook, I saw Jeff and Cash talking, and at that exact same time, I got a letter from the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission in Illinois informing me that a complaint filed against me by a sitting judge, Judge Janelle Christensen, was completely dismissed and didn't even get to the inquiry board level. Wow. Okay, so Judge Christensen wrote about a 4-page letter complaining about a number of things that primarily had to do with recording court. Okay, so I recorded I didn't record, excuse me, make it clear, I did not record, it clearly didn't. But I posted a recording on my own Facebook page, which apparently the Lake County Sheriff's Office saw and tipped her off, or who, God knows, maybe she saw it, maybe she was going through my Facebook page. So of Cash's ex-wife, Julia, testifying that she hired counsel and then went in and filed and got heard in emergency order protection without disclosing that she had counsel.
So, Ted, let me go ahead and read this real quick. It says, Mr. Bush, we have concluded our consideration for the above matter and have determined to proceed no further. As you know, Illinois Supreme Court Rule 778 requires this office to expunge all records related to most terminated investigations 3 years after the date of closure. We recommend, however, that lawyers retain their own copies of documents and records related to ARDC investigations. Complaints occasionally refile supplemental or seek reconsideration for complaints after expungement has occurred. Additionally, we sometimes reopen closed investigations where circumstances warrant, as authorized by Commission Rule 54. Also, lawyers may be asked to provide information about terminated disciplinary investigations in connection with applications for admissions to practice law in other jurisdictions, judicial
Ed,
applications.
You gotta mute your mic, bro.
What?
You can't hear me? Yeah, you got to mute your mic though when he's talking. Get all right, hold on.
Oh, well, they still heard it on the live stream here. That's fine. So, and then under Illinois Supreme Court Rule 766, our investigations are private and confidential. Thank you for your cooperation. David B. Collins, Counsel, ARDC Litigation Division. So what does all that mean, Ted?
Okay, so I'm so sorry. I'm at an intersection right now, and the sound should get better shortly. So what happened is that Judge Christensen filed basically a number of complaints against me, and both of them stem from Jeff Larson's case and Cash's case. So it's ironic that both of you guys are together. And so Judge Christensen complained that. Oh, go ahead.
No,
well,
sorry, Cash.
That was Jeff saying good morning.
Okay. So Judge Christensen complained that in Jeff's case, we ripped a video of her court proceeding off of YouTube. And so what happened in Jeff's case is that his ex committed perjury in an order protection hearing, claiming that she called Jeff every day when he was in Alabama for a month, when in fact she didn't call him at all and was setting him up to get a transfer of custody. And so we subpoenaed her phone records, and then we pulled the video off of YouTube and then typed up her statements verbatim that she had perjured herself in claiming that she was traumatized by not letting on where Jeff or her daughter is, when in fact she never called him one time, but she never called Jeff once, but she called her father 39 times. She called her father she called the guardian ad litem 15 times. Okay, so she calls all these people except for Jeff, and then lies on the stand that she called Jeff. And so Judge Christensen made an issue that I had obtained the video of Jennifer Brown lying under oath. That was number one. And that happened in her courtroom. And my response is basically, yeah, it's more important to expose perjury than to cover up perjury.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think that a judge would understand that, right? You would think that a judge would go, this is the integrity of the courtroom that I preside over. So maintaining that integrity and actually weeding out perjury, you would think is the job of a judge. If I'm wrong, I'm not an attorney, Ted.
If you look at my response to the ARDC, I literally made that argument.
Yeah.
I literally made that argument that number one, the Illinois Supreme Court wants electronic recordings under Rule 46. That's the Supreme Court's own access to justice commission. So it's these courts that are breaking, basically the wishes and intent of the Supreme Court, not me. I made that argument explicitly.
That makes sense to me.
It appeared to have worked. The other issue so what else did she alleged? So basically, with Jeff's case, it was that recording, and she noted that we disclosed that recording all the way in the Illinois Appellate Court and up to the Supreme Court. So it's not like we were hiding anything. And then she comes around months, like almost a year later, and complains about this recording to the ARDC, when in fact it had already got up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court didn't do anything about it. We admitted to the Supreme Court to obtaining a recording of that order of protection hearing. They didn't do anything. So what does that tell you? Is that, why are these judges going to this extent to try to suppress the are uttered to them, and to basically openly flaunt? Jeff was facing criminal charges. She read his Fifth Amendment rights twice, and she didn't provide a court reporter. I mean, the kidnapping charges that Jeff was facing were identical to the allegations of concealment in the order of protection. So literally, the evidence of the perjured evidence in his civil domestic relations proceeding could have been used against him to put him in jail. and that she's basically claiming we didn't have a right to secure that, to defend him against felony charges that basically Christensen was responsible for. She knew that Jeff wasn't served with the motion. She knew Jeff wasn't served with the order, and she went ahead and punished him anyway.
Wow. Now, why does it always seem to be that these judges seem to be at the common root of all of these transgressions and redresses of grievances, Ted? Because to me, it's like I've heard both you, Cash, and Jeff all have a similar common denominator, and that is human trafficker Christensen in Lake County, Illinois. That's all three of you have been treated. She's been treating you as if she is above you. She has been literally dictating when you see and if you see your children, how your homes are sold or foreclosed on. Like, these are all issues that
Judge Christensen is in a narcissistic rage right now. That's what it looks like to me.
But see, here's the thing: is how is it
and the personalities that we all have to deal with the opposing parties in these contentious divorce cases? The narcissistic rage is something that we should all be familiar with and know it when we see it, and that's what this is.
Right. I mean, and you know, Ted, to me, it's like, you know, I've listened to for years, you know, what this judge and this has done, and to me, she continues to get away with what she does. Okay, she continues to have immunity, it seems, to ominous dominus destroy your life, and to fit a narrative if she doesn't like you, and she can send you down that primrose path. So she's not calling balls and strikes, she's being a dictator. She's putting her thumbs on the scales as a judge. I mean, this seems to be like a court foreign to constitutional rights.
Well, that's the issue. And actually, I've been in contact with Senator Hawley's office about introducing legislation to deal with.
We should call it the Christensen law, that any judge that violates rights should be put to death for treason. That's my opinion.
Well, all right, but I got to go back. I got to go back, and I got a doctor's appointment that I'm putting off right now to finish it. So I want to outline all the things that she alleged in Cash's case that the ARDC completely dismissed.
Well, how about this, Ted? If you've got time tomorrow, why don't you join Cash and myself after our team call?
I'm going to be on chemo. I'm doing this because I'm about to go get chemo.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Well, when you're ready, Ted, you just let us know.
So I'm going to tell you quickly what happened in Cash's case. So she complained that I posted a video from the 5.5-day hearing of Cash's ex-wife testifying that her first attorney, Gary Schlesinger, waited outside the courtroom after being paid half his retainer, in which he got the first emergency order protection against Cash. So basically, Gary Schlesinger and his ex-wife were defrauding the order protection judge into thinking that this is just a damsel in distress by herself, when in fact she's got a high-paid attorney sitting outside the courtroom. Okay, I believe that was an act of dishonesty by Gary Schlesinger, something that I was required to report, because that is just absolute fraud. That these attorneys would do that they would literally coach their clients to go into a judge by themselves. That's unprofessional in itself.
But it happens every single day, and that's just one case and one fact.
Right. So I posted a recording from Cash's hearing. You would never ever see that if it wasn't for the recording. Never, ever see it. And that is absolute evidence of a woman testifying under oath that occurred. Okay. Fact. And that was a total accident. We completely fell in. I had no idea that I was going to get that. Cash and I were as shocked.
I remember I was in the courtroom that day. I remember the look on everyone's faces when she said that. Even Christensen had a look like, uh-oh, the gig's up.
That was incredible. So she complained about that. She also claimed that I was somehow involved in Cash's live feeds. So Cash was going around and doing live feeds that entire week. Amazing live feeds that I watched later. But I had no idea what the hell he was doing. I mean, during the in-camera of his children, I was inside the courtroom, and I had no idea that Cash was surrounded by 6 security guards about 20 feet away from me. Okay, I didn't know. I mean, when we got into court that morning, Cash was doing a live feed, and he walked in briefly before Judge Christensen sat on the bench, and basically Christensen claimed that I was somehow involved in this. I'm like, I had nothing to do with this.
The next day, the higher judge than Christensen put out the sign saying no recording past this point.
Well, the sign ended up being potentially devastating evidence against Judge Christensen that she had no idea of. Is that she was basically claiming that entryway, that you guys were openly violating the order by recording in the atrium area, basically leading. And we were told, you guys were told by the Lake County Sheriff's Office that that's not considered part of the courthouse.
Right.
So what happened is that when we forced them, Cash forced them to put up that sign on July 29th, that was, first of all, so she was complaining about what he did on the 27th and 28th. Then they put up the sign on the 29th, and she's complaining that Cash is, recording in the courthouse, when in fact it is abundantly clear that you guys had that ability and that right to do that, as stated by the Lake County Sheriff's Office. So that sign ended up, I sent the sign to the ARDC and Cash standing by it, and I think that had a lot to do with it, is that we had a right to record in that area, and the ARDC effectively affirmed that. So that's another thing that she complained about, and she complained about. Oh, what the hell?
Hey, Ted, you ever notice? And I want to kind of make sure we get to this to the short before you go. Is that the big thing to me is that she's a judge. Fuck her complaints. She is trafficking your children. She's trafficking your children. Okay.
Well, the thing is that the other thing that you guys should know is that Judge Christensen was upset about the posting of the March 12th, 2020 video.
I don't give a shit what Judge Christensen's upset about. Honestly, Ted. Honesty.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying is that she's upset. She brought her complaint, and the ARDC threw it out completely.
Well, good for the ARDC. Another alphabet organization of people that I don't recognize their legitimacy anyways. So, they investigated themselves and they found out we did nothing wrong. That's our benefit. But in that letter, even, Ted, they're like, it can always be opened up again. It's like, so even then, in that language, it's still like, we can still come and get you if we want you.
That's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. So, but what's important is that, and what people need to know is that Judge Christensen is effectively discredited because of what she stated in the order. She claimed that Cash lost control in court on March 12, 2020. I sent them the audio of that court proceeding, and that also factored in. She was upset about the first recording from back, when Cash came up from Arkansas, and they threw that out too. So basically they look at her losing control and then making false allegations in a complaint and throwing that out. I think that reflects well on Cash, to be honest.
And that's what I'm trying to say, is at what point is there somebody that can stop what she's done and rectify the cases she has clearly abused, when she herself cannot control her own emotions? I've watched that woman for 5 days. It was like a roller coaster in her. It was like she was like a professional gaslighter. Like she understood her role and when to kind of push that button, because it all centers around that judge. Nothing transpires in that courtroom without the judge having played a role. And so her being in the center of that orbit, her being the narcissist that she is, and I watched her gaslight you, gaslight Cash, gaslight the public, and to sit there and say that she's somehow some whistle clean person in this, it's like, no, she's not. So what she's done to you, Ted, what she's done to Cash and Jeff is, in my opinion, who's the guy, who's the woman, who's the judge that can rectify what she's done? Who's the person that can rectify it? That's what I'd like to know. Who's the one that can rectify the wrongs that the judge, Janelle Christensen, committed?
Well, we deal with this all the time. I'm dealing with this now. In fact, I talked to my son yesterday,
I showed him the video in my case in which the DCFS workers broke the law, and he was appalled. He was shocked. And even before it all went down, he was like, throw them out, throw them out, throw them out. It was unbelievable. And you know, I talked to him. I said, Julian, we can sue these people. Do you want to sue them? And he said, yes, I do. You know, I have potentially the ability. I think Cash potentially has the ability to, you know, it's hard to, it's almost impossible, but you could, you know, I guess people can try. I have all my clients that I deal with have been horribly aggrieved and have virtually no recourse for what had been done to them. Yeah, unless you can show a pattern and practice of intentionally violating constitutional rights.
I think we've got years of evidence of that, Ted.
Effectively prove up a conspiracy. That's really what you would have to do. And proving up a conspiracy is very, very difficult.
Oh, look, and when you start to say what we need to actually do, which we can actually, we know we can prove a conspiracy every day of the week. Yeah, to me, you started garbling there. So, Ted, if you got to get going, you know, we'll let you get to your chemo there.
Yeah, I need to run through as well, CJ.
Ted, can I just ask you one quick question?
Yeah, what's up, Jeff?
Did you by any chance receive the order from David Pugh from November 18th?
I don't.
Well, I know that you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I'm just curious with everything that's going on, if you read that order, I have a court date, December 13th. If you want to take a shot across the bow at Christensen now that the ARDC thing has been lifted, because okay.
I think that you guys should. I think you guys should talk offline on that one, you guys. So
let me say this. Let me say this to both of you guys. Is that I do believe that Judge Christensen was biased against you from the beginning. I do think that she does carry a gender bias. But you know, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I got it, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
all right, well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'll just close out my own show here.
All right, man.
So thanks for joining me, though.
Yeah, thanks for having us, brother.
All right, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the team call. You never know on Internet Warlords where we're going to go. But since we're here, we might as well put on a show. So where were we? Comments, questions, concerns, complaints, bitches, gripes, moans. I'll give it a few minutes here since I'm a little under 2 hours. It's been a while. I called this a special episode for a reason. We've been all over the place. I don't think we've been able to cover one train of thought all the way through completely, and there's still loose ends everywhere. So where would the comments like to go? What loose ends should we tie up for this special broadcast today? And as always, if you'd like to contribute, paypal.me/Internet Warlords. Everything's appreciated. I mean, come on, guys. I'm poor. Could use your help. You can go to Internet Warlords, you know, on Patreon. Start helping your boy out. You know, if you've watched this long, you enjoy it. You know, if I was getting some patrons, I'd be putting out more content, you know. Maybe be able to afford an actual set. This is when I love it. The one person, this is why I can tell you, like, I will never cater myself to the internet, because as soon as I mention, hey guys, I could use a little support here, start grifting, one person's like, peace the fuck out. It's like a fucking hater. They're just like hate watching. You know, they're like, oh, I hate watching CJ, but I gotta watch it anyways. He's grifting. I'm out of here. Peace. That's fucking great. I love it. I love the internet. This is why, again, I keep you at an internet's length, internet. I don't take the internet serious at all whatsoever. And you know what's really funny? Pretty soon, the only people that are going to be able to comment on my stuff are going to be those that are paying on my Patreon. So you are watching this. It is a special episode. It is free for all viewers. But pretty soon, I'll be behind a paywall. and you won't be able to watch me without a subscription, and that's going to be great. And I've been saying this for years. I don't think we should be broadcasting for free on these censorship platforms, but we're going to fix that. And if you'd like to sponsor the broadcast, if you'd like to sponsor a warlord, there's great ways to do it over on Patreon that can include advertising. Like, for example, one of my most loyal patrons ever, Mr. Baxley, would get special shout outs to the one and only Mr. Matt Baxley. But again, I want to get to the point where we're comfortable, and you can tell with the network as we expand it, we're going to have bigger shows. We're going to have more guests. We're going to have more things, more scripted broadcasts, not necessarily this special one where I'm like, hey guys, just hopping live, because we can do this for free, but we can also do this in a way that can help support our veteran nonprofit. And that's what I'd like to do. And eventually, as you guys know, we're going to get to the point where it is going to be on VLN, and this show will be broadcasted on VLN, where we can say, hey, we've got Anthony Sabelli here over in New York, and we're going to listen to him. So I'll give it a few more minutes to play through for Anthony and Frank there, and the hard work they did and put it out, and at least close this part off. And again, keep in mind that we are recruiting for Veteran Liberty Network. So if you'd like to participate in that, we are looking for all the help we can get. So let's go ahead and get back to Anthony here, and let's see if we can close out this with some comments. And if anybody does want to join, this is your last opportunity to join the broadcast. I'm gonna bring this back to Internet Warlords and the war for the internet, but just to show you, it's gonna go quick. It's gonna be great. And again, Anthony, back to the Ghislaine Maxwell. Again, last chance to join the broadcast. Add something in here at the end if you'd like. Leave a comment. And especially if my phone dings here and says, hey, you got a PayPal donation, I'd make sweet internet love to that person for the rest of the evening. So you can buy my soul. Yes, that's correct. You can buy my soul. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, God, take me to church. I'll worship like a dog.
To video record little boys who their parents would allow this judge to take trips with their children. So it was like mind-boggling. But we see how these things are made possible. Being that you're a forensic psychology major, would you like to speak a little bit about false memories? And we know that there's going to be an expert witness coming in, Ms. Loftus, and I myself have been studying about false memories lately for many reasons. But could you touch a little bit about the false memories?
Where do I start? Let me start with the
concept of it.
The concept is that given such traumatic experience, such as sexual abuse, something like 9/11, something very traumatic happens, your memory is actually not able to fully recollect what had happened, and it then distorts and everything. And given time, over time, as 15, 20, 30 years, then there is definitely some questionable aspects with how the memory is constructed. Now, could it also be recollected? Could it also be, could the police, could the lawyers, could they be given questions that also try to, suggestive and all these different other tactics?
Sure.
So that's definitely an issue with memory. But where do we go from here? I think there definitely needs to be more research in memory, and a lot more of the hard science also too. It definitely needs to be more enacted. But given the aspect of memory, it's crucial to understand given the criminal trial.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the concept of eliciting false memories is very interesting, because how we see it applied and what we're very familiar with which is what brought us all together, the family court system and custody litigation, is that when children are divulging being harmed, whether that's sexual, physical, emotional, sometimes there are these bad actors that come in to discredit the children. That's what we're seeing a lot of. So it's very interesting here that the defense is bringing in Ms. Loftus, who's very an accredited professional. And I've spent recently I spent a lot of time reading about these false memories, not only for our litigation purposes that we're personally experiencing and going through, but also for dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's. I've been researching this. Let me ask you another question. What do you think? So now, when the pilot takes the stand again tomorrow, what are some of the things you would like to see them ask?
I would definitely want to see how is mainly the memory is going to be used in this case, because there could be also some very negative ways this could be used, and definitely further a lot of issues given the situation and given the traumatic injury and the traumatic abuse.
Are you able to be a little more specific about that?
In the aspect of just like everyone, like then it could also maybe make everyone question their memory and just how things have been done, and then that could maybe go down a spiral where could have some unintended consequences as to what actually is going on.
I thought it was actually pretty interesting how the defense was.
Yeah, internet's been giving me a little bit of trouble here on loading this video. So still trying to get through it here. But again, get your comments in. I'll put them up on the screen if you feel like it. Again, last chance to join. I'll let Anthony interrupt me when that's done buffering. So, what a day, huh? What a day. Appreciate those of you that have tuned in and over on YouTube and Facebook there. I should have put this on Veteran Liberty Network, and I didn't. I put it on my own personal, and I kind of feel stupid for that too. So I'm thinking about doing a daily broadcast myself, at least an hour, Monday through Friday. Considering that option. Right now, I'd like to do a more focused on 1 day a week, but I think I might reconsider, might reconsider a few things here. Let's see what else. I don't know. That's about it. I guess I'll just. Oh, there it goes.
Really
there we go.
Overzealously trying to discredit these victims, and the fact that they were articulating that this pool of victims had been paid out and got big bucks.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep buffering.
To discredit them. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep, just keep buttoning. Find out why.
Do you have a question a sec, Frank?
Oh, it's just a little cold out here right now. It's a little chilly.
Definitely. But I think it's really mainly also studying memory and studying the forensic psych. I'm going into it for good, but I do also know there is a lot of negative and unintended consequences that could arise, and Dr. Loftus is very prominent in the area of memory research, so I'm very curious how she's also going to be used in this case and its potential implications, because this is a very high profile case. So how else would it impact? And there was a lot of other cases in previous history where they also used some of the memory and trying to discredit, which Anthony has said. So I'm curious how they're going to do this now.
So we'll wrap up day one here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Get a picture with that shirt there. Beautiful new shirts. that
Looking
we
good.
acquired.
Yes, thank
Looking
Some of our
good.
community helping us out.
Thank you.
Much
Looking
appreciated.
good. If you guys want to follow on YouTube, Veteran Liberty Network. I don't have access to this yet, but it is a growing YouTube channel with only a whopping 10 subscribers. So I'll be getting access to that here hopefully within the next few days, and you can see some of the other stuff that we have put up there as a network. That'll be up there as well. So all right. Well, nobody left any comments. Nobody helped me in my grifting, but I appreciate all you all for tuning in this far if you're watching. And thank you for being a part of this. I do want to show you guys the quick little outro for Veteran Liberty Network, though. And I thought that it's just a nice little ending. So with that being said, have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours.